Hello, welcome to the show. We're back with Emily Harvey from Murder on the Orient Express. Thank you for doing this
My
again.
pleasure. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, we had some audio issues.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, so,
Yep.
y- yeah, so you were telling me that you grew up in Minnesota. What was that like?
Oh my goodness. I think probably not all that different to most small town, American upbringings. I grew up in a very rural part of Southwest Minnesota, a town of 5,000 people. My graduating class was about 72 people. So it was a very small town experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was great. Very cold in the winter, a lot of lake time in the summer, as you can imagine. Yeah, it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Now you got to do something that many people didn't. You got to go over abroad and study in England. Can you tell us more about the college program that you were in and why you chose England?
You know what? It's kind of ridiculous. I did a 3-year musical theater course at Mount View Academy. It was Mount View Conservatory and then Mount View Academy, and I think it's still Mount View, but it might have a different name now. I can't remember. I think it has changed again. But I went to university. I was young for my graduating year, and I was really like not prepared to go to college. So I went to university in Minnesota for a year while I tried to figure my life out, and then decided, okay, I was going to go to drama school. And I had been to London before, and I had never been to New York, and New York seemed really scary to me, but London seemed exciting, and I had been there, so I was like, okay, I know what this is about. So I didn't even audition in America at all. I went over and auditioned for a few schools in the UK, and I got into Mount View, and I was like, okay, looks like I'm going to do this. And I packed a couple of suitcases and said, I was 19 and moved to the UK and went to college there. And that's where I met Gavin, my husband. And we lived and worked there for years until Mary Poppins happened. And that's what brought us back to the United States.
I,
Sure.
you mean this Gavin? No, it's a picture.
Oh, picture.
Ah, look at that. Oh my gosh. That's years ago. That's the one. That's the one.
You feel old,
That
right?
must be from on the road. I think that was from when we were in Poppins on the road somewhere. I don't know, like say in
Yeah,
Texas or somewhere.
Uh,
so thinking of Gavin Lee, how did you guys meet?
So he was in my graduate showcase at Mount View. He was the choreographer of my graduate showcase. So I think he'd done some choreography at Mount View before, a couple of things before, but that's how I met him. Yeah. And then we kept in contact as I was finishing up school and everything. And then, yeah, and then we got together after that in 2002.
2002. Wow, 21
Yeah,
years.
It was all pre Mary Poppins. See, I feel like people always think that we got together during that or after that or whatever. But I remember when we heard that they were going to be doing Mary Poppins, and in the UK, we lived in the UK, and he was like, I said, "Gosh, you like be a perfect Bert," and he said, "I don't know. I've never even seen the movie." And I was like, "You've
Oh,
never seen Mary Poppins?" Like, Mary Poppins. So it's like, I think you should watch the movie and see if you can get an audition for that show. I mean, I don't want to take credit, but I think I'm the reason he auditioned. No.
that's probably a lot of truth to
now being newlyweds, you, and then you joined him in the show when you took it to Broadway, right?
Yep.
You understudied who? I forget how many parts you
Uh,
under.
on the road, I understudied 5, and
Yeah.
then I guess then one of the ones that I understudied on the road is what I went into Broadway playing. So then I understudied the other 4 when I was on Broadway. Yeah,
Uh,
Miss Lark, I took over Miss Lark, so I didn't understudy that anymore. And then I understudied Brill, Mrs. Banks, Miss Andrew, and Mrs. Corey.
you mean Rebecca Luca?
That's right. The one and only.
Yeah.
The world misses her.
And you also got to work with Albert and Tia.
That's right. Yes. Tia
Yeah.
and Amber. And yeah, I'm trying to think of who else. Yep. Love them. Love them to bits. Yeah, there we are. Oh God, I love it. Those were the days.
Yeah.
We were pretty proud of ourselves. We were like, look at this. Oh God, that's funny.
How was it being newlyweds on the road?
Oh, I mean, it's like the honeymoon of that dreams are made of, right? Like you're making money, you're doing the show together, you get to travel everywhere. I mean, and it was really fun because I got to experience Gav experiencing so much of America that he had never seen before. So that was really cool. The fact that he got to like see all these places, and a lot of them I hadn't seen either, you know? So it was new to me and super new to him. And he was just like, every place we go, he was like, oh my God, it's like a movie. It's like a movie. So it was fantastic. I mean, it was a dream come true. And we, you know, as a couple, we could save a lot of money, and that helped us buy a house. So, you know, all of that stuff is like, I don't know. It just like, it makes all those things extra special because you remember what came from all of that.
Right. Yeah. Time capsules. Right.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I happen to have a clip of you guys working together from Broadway.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, I love it.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Hum-diddly-lum-diddly, 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 hum-diddly-lum-diddly. You know, you can say it backwards, which is so cordyli, exit silly garthily creepus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants and 16 vowels as well, and put them in an order which is very hard to spell.
Supercalifragilistic, oh, C-I-O-U-S,
Oh my God, I'm tired just watching that. Oh, that choreography does not ever leave your body.
Yeah, I'm sure that just comes
It's
right
just
back.
there forever. Those letters are there. They're in
Yeah.
there for good.
I did, right?
I know Ashley
Yeah.
does it in her concerts.
Oh,
But,
yes. Yes. Love. I mean, my goodness. Her singing
yeah,
that stuff is incredible.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now, in Miami Poppin', Gav got the tap dance on the ceiling.
Mhm.
What was going through your head when you said, Emily, are you gonna tap dance?
Ah. I mean, it was thrilling. I think a lot of the fear of it was gone for me by the time. I mean, it was still like I can't believe I'm watching this, and it did make me a little nervous, but he shared with me a lot of what he found out about um just all the mechanics of the whole trick and how it would all work and how he was totally safe and how they practiced it a lot, obviously, so he felt really comfortable. So I don't know, I was just trying to be brave for him and just being like, this will be fine. But it's crazy. I mean, and he did a lot of practicing on a stationary framework that they built for him so that he could just hook in and flip upside down and just tap and feel what it feels like to tap without gravity, essentially, because gravity is such a huge factor in tap dancing. So
Mhm.
how do you do that when you take that out of it, when you're having to force that, that beat up? And so I knew that he had a lot of practice at it and felt really comfortable. So I was just thrilled to watch it. It was just like the best tap trick I'd ever seen.
Were you nervous at any time?
Probably the first couple of times that he did it, and I wouldn't even been there for that. It was just those were in rehearsals or whatever, and it was just like, oh my God, please let this go okay. But
Yeah.
then once they had done it over and over again, I was pretty secure. I was pretty confident that it was all gonna be
Yeah, once
fine.
repetition sets in.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had met the guys that would always, check all of the mechanics of it and all of
Sure,
his
sure.
harnesses and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, I felt
Right,
confident.
right. For sure.
Let's take a look at him on the ceiling.
Yeah,
And
let's
Over the rooftop, step in time.
Yay!
Sorry for the volume there.
yeah, that
Loud.
was so cool. Everything he did it.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. He always had to make sure he didn't eat too much between shows on a matinee
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Right.
Yeah,
Good. That's right.
now, if you
Yeah.
could do any show with Gavin playing his wife, his girlfriend, his love interest, what would it be?
I think we both agree. We would love to play The Baker and the Baker's Wife. We
Why?
love that show. We love those parts. So I think that's what we would choose. Our dear friends Steph and Seb are playing it now out on the road and are so delicious.
Yeah. You mean Stephanie J. Black in the
Mhm.
back and
Stephanie Black, yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
Sebastian Arcellus, yeah.
yeah.
Mm. Yep.
Um, Now, in Murder on the Orient Express, you understudy like 3 or 4 parts. How do you keep the parts together? You know, without do you color code them? What do you?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I did when I first got the script. I gave each of them a color. I color coded my script for each of them. I understudied 3 of the female parts in the show, and I had to color code my script, and I just had to learn. I had to memorize one at a time, and I tried really hard to be memorized before we started the show, so that when they started setting, not choreography, there's no choreography in it, but when they started setting all the blocking, I could just concentrate on that movement of each of them instead of thinking about words. And so, yeah, that's what I did. I kept a different set of note cards also for each character, so that if I were to go on, I have this reference point for every scene, every entrance, whatever. But yeah, that's all you can do is just learn as much as you can and do as much rehearsing as you're offered and hope for the best.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Did you ever actually go on?
I did. I ended up going on for Greta, the Swedish part, which was really fun. I got a 2-show day as well. So I got to, feel it out the first time and have another go, which was like such a blessing. And I was so happy and thrilled to be able to get up there and play a little bit with the cast, who are all fantastic and were so patient and kind and supportive of me. So I was really lucky.
Now, Gavin was in Beauty and the Beast in London. What were you doing at that time?
I was here in Maplewood, where we live, with our 3 kids, just holding down the fort and doing some things of my own while I was here too. But it was a lot. Just our youngest at that time was not yet in proper school, so she was home with me. So I had a lot on my plate, but we got through. The nice thing is that the time difference allowed for us to. He would finish the show and get home at like 11 p.m. or midnight. And that was about the time that I would sit down with the kids to have dinner. So then we would Zoom each other, and he would find out about their day, and we would eat dinner, and he would have finished work and would be available to speak to us. So it kind of the time difference worked really well in that way. And he was not yet at work when they would wake up in the morning. It was afternoon for him, but he wasn't in yet. So we could talk to him in the morning. We talked to him every morning and every evening. So it felt, thank goodness for technology in that way. He was so far away, but we got to see each other multiple times a day on the screen.
Yeah,
that's great.
And I follow a lot of YouTube bloggers and
I would say.
Broadway bloggers,
Yeah.
and they flew over directly the production,
Yep.
and they were showing some merchandise of a Gavin Lee keychain. So,
Hang on a second.
so I actually called him from England and asked him for it. And
Yeah, I'm sure this looks a little familiar. If I can get up here.
Oh, let's see. Yes, we have that one. We have that one too. I love that one. Isn't that cool? And it spins, that bit inside spins.
Yeah, it does.
You called him and asked him to send it to you, and he sent it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
I think I was at already. It was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I forget when that was. More than that.
And I am so obsessed with Gav
Yeah.
that I'm going on a new cruise, and look what I got for the cruise.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh, your Squidward pass. I love it. I love it.
And it
Well, look at
even
you. You're set up with all the Gavin Lee merch.
Yeah, get all kinds of stuff. Yeah. He's got loads of stuff.
and it even comes with a keychain. too.
Fantastic. Look, you got both.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty nice.
I
Um,
love it.
Yeah. What next?
I don't know. I don't have anything booked at the moment, but things like that seem to change so fast around here that I'm like, savor this moment before everything goes crazy again. I mean,
Right.
Murder on the Orient Express came along, and then Encores came along for Gav. So we ended up doing those two shows at the last minute at the exact same time. Like the dates almost lined up completely perfectly, to the point where my mother came to help us look after the kids, because it was like, oh my gosh, these schedules line up exactly the same. So I've learned to like kind of enjoy the moments where it's not insanity when they come, and then, gear up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a challenge trying to get a babysitter for kids. Yeah.
Oh my
That's-
gosh. Yeah. It's a complicated and busy household. So, when we are both going at full speed and all three kids are, it's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, it's a locomotive.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah. It's going 150 miles an hour.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. What did your side of the family think about the butler did it?
Oh,
That was great. That was so
they
funny.
loved it. They loved it. It was such a treat, like, to be seeing that commercial over and over again, and people from all over the country, be it my family or friends or whatever, texting to say, "Oh my gosh, I just saw you." That was really fun. Really fun. It was funny, and there were so many like versions of it. Some people say, "Oh, I saw a whole pre-scene, like it was longer and it got cut down to different versions." So that was fun.
Yeah, alternate
Yeah.
versions, right?
Yeah, and then he had the Pepsi commercial
Pepsi
with
one too. Yeah.
With Steve
Steve
Martin.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. Yeah, and that was fun too. I think, he just had this beautiful moment with the mustache that just turned into many things. We were like, that mustache is booking you these commercials. So we kept it for a while.
Yeah, if it gets you work, might as well keep it, right?
Yeah, try it for a
But
while.
you just had to deal with it for a bit, right? I was kidding.
Yes, exactly. I was like, I'm not such a big fan, but it's okay. I'll allow it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it comes through.
Yeah. I just wanna apologize one more time for the technical difficulty.
No worries.
Thank
No
you.
worries at all.
Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Likewise.
Say hi to Gav.
Yeah, solo. Like
I absolutely will. I absolutely will. I'll
Okay.
send him your love, and he sends his as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, take
See
care.
you next time.
See you
on
next
the-
time. For
Bye.
sure. Bye,
Right.
guys.
All right,
Bye.
bye.